Video, where's my video? Buongiorno Esra, come stai?
Tutto bene, professoressa, voi come sta?
Bene, bene. Mi dispiace, non sapevo che oggi non dovevo fare
Ah,
la lezione, pero come, well, ya lo había puesto en el calendario hacía tiempo cuando me di cuenta y como mañana no puedo, pues aquí estamos.
ok, sta bien.
Sta bien? Ok, allora, buono vederti. Non so se qualcuno arriverà perché ho detto che non era, that it wasn't supposed to be a class, but you know, this is a recording session and you're welcome, as is anybody else. Allora, I'm gonna go a little faster. Uh,
Ok,
you can jump in anytime you want. Allora, quello che facciamo, let's start right now and I'm going to share the screen, the sound, etc. But we don't have a song for this one. We did that already before. Ok, allora, l'imperfetto, il tempo passato abituale. Come abbiamo già visto, dobbiamo togliere are e mettiamo per io, avo, tu, avi, lei, lui, ava, noi avamo, voi avate, loro avano. Quindi abitare, quando io avevo 16 anni, abitavo in Austria. Dove tu abitavi quando avevi 16 anni?
16 anni um, o abitavo,
Abitavo,
o,
sì.
yeah, o abitavo qui in Los Angeles.
Bene, a Los Angeles, in California, a Los Angeles, come in
Sì,
francese, in paese e poi a città, solo che in francese c'è accento, in italiano non c'è accento, ma
sì.
è esattamente la stessa cosa. Bene, so abitavi a Los Angeles quando avevi 16 anni. Bene. Ok, allora, questo è un esempio. Poi i verbi con ere, right? Questo è se è leggere, per esempio, quando avevo 12 anni io leggevo alle 2 di mattina. Was was that a one-time thing or was I often reading at 2 in the morning?
It was, it was often.
Sì, leggevo spesso alle 2 di mattina. Sì, non dormivo e leggevo alle 2 di mattina. Quando avevo 12 anni, mia madre diceva vai a letto e io andavo a letto e poi mi alzavo e andavo al bagno, chiudevo la porta e accendevo la luce e stavo lì leggendo. Sì, è una storia
Oh my God.
vera, ma ho usato molti verbi all'imperfetto per
Sì,
raccontarla. Sì, ok, e ire, questa è la coniugazione con ire, quindi se, if you notice, and I went over this already in class, if you take only the last two letters from the verbs, right, and you leave the a, the e, or the e in the root, it's like the endings are the same, right? Like you see here. So if it's, ok, questa è la forma de io. La forma de lui, lei, how would it be? Lui, lei,
vendeva.
vendeva. Molto bene. E poi, questa è la forma di voi, compravate, voi,
Ven, vendate o no vendete?
vendevate, right? The
Oh,
same.
vendevate.
Oh, this should be in a different color. Vendevate, right? E questa è la forma di tu, compravi, vendevi. La forma di dormire would be what?
Dormivi.
Dormivi, tu dormivi. Oh, la forma di io, qui sarebbe io
Compravo, dormivo.
dormivo, molto bene. Che è noi
Dormivano.
dormivamo e loro
Dormi, ah, dormivamo.
dormivano. Ok, va.
Se lo stesso? Se lo
No, no,
stesso?
no, noi con M, loro con
Ah,
noi con M, right? Loro con N. And this is very often like the iamo
mm,
in the present and the
Oh, an ano, like loro
Ano,
ano.
the noi, yes, like the noi is always with the M and the loro with the N. Okay, so yes, the pattern keeps reappearing. So, bene, questo è l'imperfetto, la coniugazione quando i verbi sono riflessivi, the same endings, right? In this case, and the only thing that we add is the me, the T, and you see the ending heavy, right?
Heavy.
The C for lui or lei, right? Okay, this is lui, this is lei, same thing, si and then ava. Noi, the ci and then ivamo, right? So the endings are like all regular endings. So aggiungiamo i v. Avate, e per loro si avano, right? So these are reflexive verbs in the imperfect tense, right?
Right.
Again, if you have two verbs, a modal verb and a main verb, main action verb, working together, right? One action, not if they're separate actions, but if, like io dovevo, right? I had to get up at 8, right? Io dovevo alzarmi alle 8 ogni domenica, right? In this case, just like with other tenses, we conjugate the modal verb, and then the main action verb actually is not conjugated. And you see the
Okay.
conjugation would be this. This is the conjugation. It still agrees with the subject, right? But
Mhm.
this is called agreement, not conjugation. Conjugation is the are, ere, and ire. And that is the same for, so in this case, like it's not conjugated because if you say tu, a che ora okay, dovevi alzarti, right? Tu dovevi, right? This is
Yes.
conjugated. And then this is, again, this is not changing. The only thing that changes is the agreement with the subject. But the
Oh, okay.
conjugation, yes.
So it stays intact.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
E come francese, come spagnolo, like most languages, right? Yo tenía que levantarme. ¿A qué hora tú tenías que levantarte? Right?
Sí. Yeah.
So, esattamente uguale. Okay, so metto via questo qua. And then they have a couple of tables and everything, right? And then this, so this is here. So, cuando si usa l'imperfetto, right? So again, there's some certain trigger words that tell you when, right? So, sempre. Di solito means usually, qualche volta, sometimes, spesso, often, and ogni, which would be in English each day, right? It's like every, but literally means each, but it's every day, every summer, every week, every weekend, right? Ogni domenica, each Sunday, cada domingo o todos los domingos, like chaque.
Okay.
In,
Oh,
in,
Shakwi. Okay.
and And of course, we know because you know other languages when to use imperfect tense, right?
Yes.
Also, ritual en el passato, condizioni stati, right? Era bello, splendeva il sole, right? When you have a story, you usually set the stage with the imperfect, and then when you get to the action, you go into passato prossimo, right? And then also, and I'm sure you've seen this in the other languages, what was going on when something else interrupted, right? So as I was going to school, I suddenly ran across your brother, right? And boy, we did some other altre other oh sì sì sì. Per questo io non mangio pollo perché these were my pets, right? So it will be so these are my own racconto dell'infanzia that we kind of went over in class. I think we went over somebody else's actually. So if I si chiamavano, loro mangiavano tutto quello che io non mangiavo. Lui ed io, this is noi giocavamo molto. L'anatra si chiamava sorpresa, questo anatra si chiamava sorpresa e questo sono io, sì, e mia sorella. Io e mio
Ma
cugino.
è vero che tu non mangi polli?
No, non mangio pollo. No, e vedi, io li amo.
Oh, give me 1 second. I think there's someone at the door.
Sì, sì, sì. Sì, va bene. No, tutto a posto. Allora, Yeah, so all how things used to be, right? Notavamo, all this will be in the imperfetto, right? However, queste ragazze abitavano con me, but if I change suddenly to one day, something that happened once, right? In this case, ci siamo vestite. So this will be passato prossimo right here in this case. And that's why I put it in red, because that's a kind of a curveball. We're doing imperfetto, 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 and then all of a sudden I have a different one. So the same thing, we did this one in class, right? So you have all these trigger words, often, every weekend, always, sometimes, right? This is a description that goes in the all'imperfetto aveva, right? So we did all this, and then all of a sudden, last Wednesday, everybody in class succeeded in identifying this as passato prossimo. Perché tu non hai studiato, right? And then remember, some of them are irregular. Ieri faceva freddo. So describing weather, often you tend to use imperfect, even if you have a specific time here. In most cases you do. Poi, so we did something like this as well, a little quickly, però va bene, se avete domande chiedetemele. So la prossima cosa che facciamo, oh yeah, this is comes a little later. Yeah, so è questo qua. No, over here. So for the test, there's some words that we were using in the conversation, and this is a draft that I have. Is not exactly the same as what you're gonna see tomorrow, that will be revealed tomorrow, but it's very, very similar to it. So this is really easy, right? So this will be like the warm-up. I start really easy and then it gets progressively a little harder, right? Qualche volta. And yes, so this is vocabulary we've been using. We haven't really emphasized it by itself, but it's been embedded in the sentences. So ogni, so that will be spesso, remember that's often, di solito, usually, frequentemente, questo è facile, è sempre, è anche molto facile. So you would choose whichever is you think is best. E poi, in this case, so it starts by multiple choice, then I ask you to type in the, so when you guys, oh no, this is a multiple choice. So lei, che cosa lei faceva? And then, you know, va, the ending. Lui, again, va. Mangiava. Katia, again, this is still lei, va, has to end. And however, check the spelling, right? So only one of them is correct. Questo è un verbo riflessivo. If you see the C at the end, you know that you need it. So if you have just divertivano, it would not be correct. Poi, the same thing. This is actually a reciprocal verb, not reflexive, but it works like a reflexive one. Si incontravano all'università. Loro, right? Make sure that this is plural. And sometimes I put a picture to make sure that if somebody for any reason needs glasses, oh my God, I can't see, plurale o singolare? Okay, loro correvano al lago. Oh yes, and this is the first one where you have to type in it. When you type correvano, make sure that you, right? Correa. Sometimes people do things like this because they're typing fast, right? And then they get it wrong because the computer also doesn't understand. Maybe you got it partially right. So another thing, if you have a space, the computer, and this drives me crazy, and that's why I go over everybody's test or quiz after, even the ones that is marked wrong, and sometimes I correct them, right? Because if you do that and then submit, it's going to count that as a character. And then it's going to say, wrong again, right?
Oh, okay.
So, yes, it has happened. And I usually put also this because it used to also not
Mm.
Counted correct. I think now they fixed that. But anyway, so dire. How do you say I say? Io dico. Right? This is the root.
Lo dico.
Yeah. So, oh, sorry. What? So you need to use that root and then fare a same thing. You have that root. Noi facevamo.
O facevamo, ok.
Il compiti. What? See, I have to. This I was using my other computer and it has the autocorrect. No matter how many times I turn it off, it still comes back and sneaks in, right? And makes me look stupid, right? This is plural, this is singular. Ah, right. But anyway, I now that I see it, and this is also a bigger screen, I'll fix it later. And then this is irregular, right? It's not essevate, but eravate.
Eravate, ok.
Sì. Io ero, tu eri, lei era, right? And remember, it's io ero, non come spagnolo, right? E noi mangiavamo, Monica cenava, right? Voi, quale sarebbe voi?
Viaggiavate.
Molto bene. Viaggiavate spesso prima del Covid. E poi, then I have a couple, see, I am reluctant, I should, but I'm reluctant to have you type with spaces because of past experience with Canvas. You know, they put two spaces and it's wrong, right? So, si svegliava, perché questo è un verbo riflessivo. And this, we had this in the song, right? Io stavo meglio senza te, che stavo
Sì.
meglio, right? And then it was right. So this is kind of a, there's only one that makes sense anyway, but I made the
Ok.
other ones grammatically incorrect anyway, just in case, okay, pioveva, it. It would be the he or she.
He or she, ok.
Yes, like llovía.
Mm.
Um, so it's like you, we, I. It would be grammatically incorrect anyway. So, and then this is maybe kind of the hardest part because tutto questo tempo. Again, this is from the song, but I made it a little more obvious here that is all this time. So the implication is going to be imperfetto, right?
Ok.
So, and if it's the tu and it's imperfecto, right? Tu, you know that it's going to end in, it's going to end in
And I.
if it's tu, just like present tense and just
Ah,
like it's going to end in e. How many end in e here? O, a,
just
e.
one actually. Credevi?
Yes. Okay. Now, but not all of them are that easy. Cuando ero bambina, who is the subject here? Cuando,
Subject is la bambina.
when I was,
Oh, ero.
yeah, when I was a little girl, right? It would be then, it's going to end with avo.
So, oh, mangiavo.
Yes. Right. So again, make sure that you know it's io when I was a little girl, not the little girl, right? So that's what the verb tells you. And then stamattina, and then my gosh, what the heck? Who is the subject? But if it's stamattina, did that happen once or more than once?
It happened once because stamattina is this morning.
Yes. So it's going to be one of the passato prossimi here. How many we have in passato prossimo is the ones with two words, uno, due, tre, e quattro. We have four that are passato prossimo. Ho mangiato, abbiamo viaggiato, ha mangiato, hai visto. And then, so it's going to be
Ho
this.
mangiato.
Okay. Io ero in classe, ma tu non mi... Tu.
Tu non mi... Io ero in classe. I was in class, ma tu non mi...
But
Hai
you.
visto?
Sì, non mi hai visto entrare. Benissimo. E poi, I use you for this example, ogni giorno. It's going to be imperfetto. Che cosa lui faceva? Just don't
Imperfecto.
pretend this you, pretend this extra. Right? So it's going
Um,
to end in ava or evo or evo, right?
oh,
It's going to end,
strumenti. Oh, that's suonava.
sì, right. It's going to be in the va, and we have giocava. Do not be confused with giocava because you don't play instruments. But there's going to be another one where you need giocava. So, what is this? Alicia Palecanestro. This is a game, it's basketball, molto spesso. So, what would be that one?
That one would be giocava.
Yes. E poi ieri sera, last night. Is it passato prossimo o imperfetto?
Florenza.
If it's last night,
Ha mangiato.
ha
Because it
mangiato.
sounds regular, right?
Yes, che ha mangiato. Is, sì, benissimo. E poi, noi sempre briscola, and it's a card game. So it's probably play, right? So noi che cosa?
Let me see. Oh, giocavamo.
Sì, molto bene. And then l'anno scorso, last year, something we didn't do.
Non per scopra del coronavirus. L'anno scorso per colpa de.
L'anno
Oh,
scorso.
it would be. Oh, mangiavo. No. Oh, is the first one a typo? Is it supposed to be noi non?
Oh my gosh. See?
It says noi
Yes,
non.
it is. It is noi non. It's not. And I even read it the way it's supposed to be. Noi, yes, that's great.
Okay,
But anyway,
that one kind of got
it's good
confused.
that
In
this is
that
just
case,
a
it would be
draft.
abbiamo viaggiato.
Yes, yeah. So abbiamo viaggiato l'anno scorso, right? One time thing that what didn't happen, right? But it's okay, l'anno scorso. It's not every summer we used to travel, right? It's that one. E poi voi, che cosa? Sempre a Starbucks.
Per gli esami,
Voi is gonna be,
ate. Voi
yes,
studiate sempre a Starbucks per gli esami.
vate. Molto bene. So it's gonna be a vate ending, right? So if you see, and I'm gonna do those couple of little fixes that I need to do. Well, this is just a draft anyway. Pero sí. So if it's noi, right? First of all, if it's passato prossimo, you would have a specific time, a one-time occurrence, like quando, ieri sera, for example. And most of them are going to be imperfetto, and then look at the subject. Is it going to be va for lui, lei, vo per io, vi per tu, etc. Vamo per noi, and so on. Ok, bene, so se abbiamo questo qua, se compariamo, and this is whatever, sono, right, the verb, più, meno, adjective, di, or che, right? Those are the comparisons of inequality. And then tanto, quanto, così, come are the ones of equality.
Okay.
If you're going to compare Los Angeles and San Diego, what could you say about those two cities?
Compare Los Angeles così. Well, I could say like per esempio, Los Angeles è così grande che San Diego.
È così grande come San Diego? O tanto
Like that?
grande
Would it be like
come
that?
San Diego? Well, yes, if it's a matter of opinion, I actually think Los Angeles è più grande di San Diego.
Sì,
San Diego è meno grande
meno grande, sì.
di Los Angeles o più piccola. Però va bene, okay? So that it has to be just grammatically correct because some of them are going to be, if I give you Michael Jordan and LeBron James, whatever people say is probably going to be an opinion, right?
Or what about populated? Like the word populated, is it populato?
Yes, but you can say Los Angeles ha, right, has, più persone o più popolazione di San Diego. Then
Okay.
if it has, no is, then the verb Los Angeles ha instead of e. Ok, gatti e conigli. Conigli, Bugs Bunny, right?
Ah, okay.
I gatti
Um,
sono
I
tanto.
gatti è meno lento che... Ok. Che i conigli?
Okay, i gatti sono, right? Because this is
Oh, that's right. Sono. Yeah.
sono because it's plurale, right? The rest, this is singular, singular, and singular, but gatti is plural,
Okay.
right? Sono,
I-
che cosa hai detto? Meno agili, meno rapidi che i conigli?
Meno rapidi, sì.
Ok, per andare, sì, per la maratona, sì. Ok, UCLA e USC.
Uff.
I wouldn't know what to say actually, eccetto UCLA costa meno di USC, penso.
Oh, credo che sì,
Mhm,
perché USC è privato,
mhm. È
ma
carissima,
sì, sì, UCLA è meno costoso,
meno costosa, perché
meno
è
costosa che USC.
un'università, sì,
Ok.
l'università. Ok, molto bene. La musica rock e la matematica.
Oh, um, let me see. Vediamo. La musica rock è... What can I say? It's a bit tricky.
Ok, quale è più interessante, la matematica o la musica rock?
Ah, okay. La
Any
música rock.
adjective, you can use any adjective.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
I was thinking a little too hard. La música rock è molto interessante che la matematica.
molto più interessante, right? You
Molto
need
più
the più
interessante.
or the meno che la
Okay.
matematica. Okay, so if you did this and they were all unequal, then, and I want you to have another sentence and at least one comparison of equality. So now then the last one that you make up would have to be about equality. So something that is more or less the same as something else, right? So, per esempio, il mio cane, whichever his name is, mangia tanto quanto the other dog, right?
Okay.
Eats as much as the other, even if it's not true, right? But you can say, oh, la música rock è tanto interessante quanto la música
Sí.
country or whatever, la música clásica, right?
Okay.
So again, so if you just to make sure that you have at least one comparison of equality, if anything, everything else is unequal. Or you could say that the cats are about as big as the rabbits, right? Some of them may be, I don't know. So it doesn't have to be scientifically correct, just grammatically correct. Va bene?
Okay. Va
So,
bene.
so if you have something like this, which I'm hinting that you may perhaps have in the test, right? And I think we went over most of what you can expect on it. But if you see here, this is very similar, not exactly the same, right? I put other things here in my draft. But you can get an idea that that we are reviewing is going to be very similar to what you see in the test. And then there may be a couple of oral questions and then a little paragraph. But by now, after you guys did the entire family or la mia infancia, quella dei miei parenti, this should be easy because it's way less, right? Per esempio, io mangiavo caramelle tutto il giorno, right? And again, I'm not gonna go through your family history to make sure that you did what you were saying. It's just about grammar, right? Mangiavo caramelle tutto il giorno. giocavo con gli amici, right? Andavo a scuola con mia madre, perché lei lavorava. Lei lavorava lì. What? Okay, it's not working right now. The accent. Well, it made the other one. It's acting up a little bit, my computer. Lei lavorava. So I have uno, due, tre, quattro. I have four verbs in one sentence, right?
Oh,
1, 2,
okay.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I have 18 words already, right? So it's not that much. It just, sometimes people see this 25 words, sette verbi, and they go like, oh, mamma mia, right? But they have been using this all along. And then there's examples. So I ask that you guys do not go to other websites, right? That you do not veer away from this page. But you can say, okay, quando io ero giovane ballavo, right? Or you can put, okay, this is already in the lay form. I can say mia sorella, even if I don't have a sister. Well, I do have one. Cuando era più giovane, mia sorella ballava. And that's actually true for me. But anyway, so you can do things like that. And that's probably it. Esra,
Sì,
sì, tu avevi animali quando eri bambino?
sì, io avevo un cano che lui si chiamava Bruce.
Oi, avevi un
Sì.
cane che si chiamava Bruce. Avevi altri animali come per esempio pesci o una tartaruga,
Mm,
un gatto?
pesci.
Pesci?
Lì pesci.
Avevi pesci?
Oh, sono i cani. Mi dispiace.
No, no, io adoro gli animali. Quindi va bene, sei così fortunato di avere 6?
Sì, ma quando era un bambino,
Ah,
6, sì.
wow, ok, well, va bene. Allora, questo è tutto per oggi. That's all for today. Ezra, if there's any questions, io sono qui.
Um, well, I mean, pretty much everything is self-explanatory. Like I said before, what I like about the imperfetto dell'italiano is that it's very similar to French. I like it, so I'm pretty much getting like a refresher.
Bene, sì. Francese, spagnolo, altre lingue, pure tedesco. Anyway, so
O tedesco anche.
sì, tedesco anche ha due, well, it has something like le passé composé o il passato prossimo, right? And it
Mhm.
has the imperfecto as well. Ich ging, which is a one word versus a two word compound tense.
Oh,
Although
okay.
it doesn't always translate or is used the same way, but again, it's more similar to German is more similar to Italian and French than to English and Spanish
Really?
in this case, right?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
To have the haben and sign, the to be and to have conjugated, and then a participle. So yeah. You'd be like, oh, well,
Okay,
you'll be
okay.
explaining why, and people will be like, why in the class, and you'll be like, I got this in a German class. Ok, allora Ezra, grazie per venire. So I will, when this is ready, the recording, I'll post it and send an email to everybody. And also the test will be open tomorrow. But again, because of spring break, I will leave it open the entire next week.
Ok, grazie mille.
Ok, prego, grazie per venire. E ci vediamo tra 2 settimane.
Oh, and I forgot before I leave. I just submitted la mia. See, I also submitted the homework. La mia infancia. It's a little late, but I submitted last night, so
Don't
it should
worry,
be good.
it's all good. Ok, excellent. Grazie Ezra.
Bye.
Ci vediamo.